We were on Guam when we were shipped out to go to Iwo, not knowing where we were going. Once we got aboard ship, they showed us the outline of the Iwo Island, and at that point told us they anticipated the campaign would last about 3 days. So we're sitting way out in the ocean when those two divisions hit the island. We couldn't see anything, couldn't hear anything. Occasionally we'd see an airplane go by, but didn't know what was going on. The commanding officer of Iwo Jima set up a different defense than any other island that we had previously hit. Previously, when we would try to hit an island, they would set up a defense to keep us off the island. And this fellow said, no, let them come, because once they get here, there's no way they can escape. Something like 40,000 Marines hit the beach all at the same time on the 19th of February. On the second day, we loaded out on the Higgins boats to go ashore, but the Marines ashore have not been able to take enough territory to permit us to come in behind them. There was no room. So we rode Higgins boats all day long, and then the 21st of February, we got enough ground and we got in. When we hit, the beaches were still under fire, still being mortared and artillery. Our job was to take the first airfield, secure it, and then keep going north. There was no protection on the airfield. All we had were some shell craters where they had bombed it, and that was the only protection we could find. And so, as a result, we lost a tremendous number of Marines crossing that airfield. Once we got across the airfield, that's when we hit the reinforced concrete pillboxes that they had built to protect the airfield. On Iwo, we'd attack, they'd knock us back, and we did that a number of times, just couldn't penetrate. Our company commander called for a meeting and gathered in a big shell crater. He asked me if I thought I could do something with a flamethrower about some of these pillboxes. I had 6 Marines in my little demolition flamethrower unit, and he said, get 4 Marines to go with you and go to work. The first pillbox I'm going to try to burn out, their job is to shoot at the aperture in the front of the pillbox so that the Japanese in there can't shoot at me. Kurobayashi, the commanding general, had told the Japanese soldiers, you're going to die here because there's no way you can get back to Japan, and you're to take 10 Marines with you. So I strapped on a flamethrower to go take out some pillboxes. We made it to the first hole, which was a shell crater, in preparation to attack the first pillbox. I picked a guy by the name of Schleiger to go with me as a pole charge man. His job was to run in, seal the cave, or make sure that everybody in that pillbox was gone. Schleiger caught one through the helmet, threw him backwards, and he was finished. He was done. So from that point on, I'm alone. The Japanese soldiers were tenacious fighters, and they would not give up. I still had fuel, and I still had means of using the flamethrower. And I'm trying to get to that pillbox, and of course they see me. If I had an empty flamethrower, I probably wouldn't be talking to you today. In the course of 4 hours, using up 6 different flamethrowers, I eliminated the enemy within 7 of those pillboxes. I have no explanation of how I did it. There's many things about it I don't remember. As a result of that 4 hours and eliminating the pillboxes, my company commander and fellow Marines thought me worthy to be recommended for the Medal of Honor. And then that's history. Vernon was his name. Vernon and I were closer than any brother. I had lots of brothers, but he and I were closer than any brothers I ever had. Vernon had a ring that his daddy had given him when he entered the Marine Corps. And as I said, Vernon was 6'6", so he had huge hands. He just 13 shoe and just a big man. But he wore that ring on this finger. And my girlfriend had given me a ring. And her first name was Ruby, so she gave me a ring with a wee little tiny ruby in it. Verna and I were sitting in the tent one day before we went to Iwo, and probably talking about home and all that, which happened a lot. And we made a pact that if anything happened to either one of us, he was to get my ring back to Ruby, and I'm to get his ring back to Dad. That we shook hands. Okay. Never dreaming that either one of us would ever be killed. And when he got killed, I got that ring off his finger, stuck it in my pocket, and carried it through the rest of the campaign. And I got back to Guam. I wrote to the folks, his folks, and told them that I had the ring. But I was not going to put it in the mail for fear that somebody would take it. I will hang on to it until I get home, and then I will bring it to them. Still firmly believing I'm going to make it through this war. I'm going to survive. So when I got home in November of 1945, I wrote and told them I was home, and that in January of 1946, I will bring the ring to them. I had no car, I had no money, didn't know how I was going to do that, but if I had to hitchhike, I was going to do it. I just recently married. One of the community leaders in town finally agreed to let me drive his car, and 4 days later we delivered that ring to Dad. And I have said many times, I don't know of anything in the world I could deliver to him that had more meaning than that ring. And it's always been a very warm, heartfelt feeling that I was able to do that, because at that point in time, his remains hadn't even been touched. You know, they were still on Iwo Jima. And they didn't know at that point that he would ever be brought back home. So one of the things that I just had to do and got it done.